Got one bullet left. Okay, this is ridiculous. I'll have to do that all over again. Okay, let's try that again. Get at me, dog. Want a piece of this? Yeah. Stunning AI we got here. Okay, there we go. The game finally figured out that we're having a stalemate. Get at me, dog. I mean, come on, look. Well, so, how about those Nats, huh? They finally might be 9 games over 500 now. 9 games under 500, actually. How the heck? Okay, so basically they played the Cubs last weekend, and they somehow gave up 11 runs in the final 3 innings. They scored 6 runs in that game, but the fact that you gave up 11 runs in 3 innings because your bullpen is the worst in baseball probably explains a whole lot then, doesn't it? Okay, this is officially a dance. Who is the best team in baseball right now? Is it the Mets? Not the Mets. If I'm not mistaken, the Nats are 5 games out of the wild card spot. You gotta be kidding me. Well, it's only May. By the time July 4th rolls around, that's when you start panicking. And we might not even get over 80 degrees this year at Memorial Day, because I remember back in 1990 when Battletoads came out, I specifically remember being in the park. It was 100 degrees in the shade that day. Mariah Carey's Vision of Love was #1 on the charts. What else? So I guess you could say the 90s didn't officially begin until 1993, I want to say. So basically everything that happened up through, the Iraq War was pretty much just 80s hangover. The music was basically 80s hangover. So basically everything before Nirvana was 80s hangover. Including this game, which, of course, I think the newest game in this collection is from 1990, I want to say. So, 1990? What was going on in 1990? So if this were an arcade game, would this even be allowed, by the way? So, what was that book? Actually, that book that I have might be... Actually, I think I pulled it out. Let me see if it's in my closet somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I pulled out that book. Just a second. Yeah, it might be on my bookshelf over here. Stay with me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I pulled it out. So I have to move these video games out the way so I can get to my book about video games. My 25, 30-year-old book about Nintendo and entertainment system games. Let's see. I got Witcher 3 here. I probably need to get around to playing. And it's on the PS4 too. Of course, actually, I still have the Xbox version, so I don't know why I'm still hanging around with that thing. Okay, where's that book? I know I still have it here. Let's see. It might be behind all these 360 games. Let me check. Okay, dude's still going at it. Oh well, guess we'll figure out what's working. Guess we'll figure out what's going on eventually. Okay, that book is not here with my CDs, so that's fine. Wow, still got Sailor Moon S, the movie, on VHS. I have to watch that again. It's been about 3 decades. As you know, it's been 2 decades, I think, by now. Okay, move that laptop out the way. Ah, crap. So what was I thinking of? Yeah, that book. Yeah, I want to see if I can determine the objective criteria that was used. That's not the book, is it? No, that's not the book. I might have actually put it away, which would be out of the question. Okay, let's see. Nope, that's not it. Homicide, Life on the Streets. Nope, not that book. I'm pretty sure this book doesn't have a cover. Hold on. I got my TV guide, Parents, a Guide to Children's Entertainment, sitting right here. Another piece of 90s nostalgia. Let's see. I have my old video game design documents on spiral notebooks. Hey, I got a 5-star notebook here. No Trapper Keeper, though. I think I already threw those away years ago. Yeah, those are my old design documents for video games that I thought about making when I was young and impressionable. Let's see. Nope. Where did I leave that book? This is officially a bit by now, I understand. We'll just go with it till I find that book. Even though I probably won't. I probably put that book under the bed. Okay, yeah, I didn't throw it away. I'm pretty certain about that. Okay, let me get creative here. Where do I think I left it? If it's not here, I'm pretty sure it was with my old design documents. Maybe it's not. Yeah, my old, what is that? Oh yeah, that's some more design documents here. Oh wait, it's my old appointment book. Yeah, my 2006 planner. Contains well, it wasn't a diary. It was actually more of a. It wasn't even a journal. It was more of a collection of ideas and stuff that I cribbed from newspaper articles and magazines. Let's see. What I really want to do is direct. I got a Toshiba satellite book. Ooh, Disney's Adventures. I still have this thing. Let's see. Yeah, I have to gift that to somebody. I know some Disney fans might want to see this old issue. Who's on the cover, by the way? Hulk Hogan wrestling a dinosaur. Yep, I got that one. And I got one with dinosaurs on the cover. You know, not the mama. So I might want to gift that to somebody. I'm pretty sure someone's gonna want that. Yep. Wait, I got the book. I found the book. Guess I wasn't looking hard enough behind the Xbox One games. Yeah, here it is, right here. Yeah. Here we go. This is gonna be a treat. Here we go. Okay. Story time with Terrence. I got a book. It's called The Ultimate Unauthorized Nintendo Game Strategies Volume 3. Written by Corey Sandler and Tom Badgett. Published by Bantam Books. It includes a bunch of passwords for Castlevania 3, including the Help Me code, which gave you 10 lives. Help me -6. Help me level 4, yeah. Alucard's level. No, this is not the book I was thinking of, actually. Just a second. Yeah, this is not the book I was thinking of. It's a different book. But is P.O.W. included on this book? I want to say no. Yes, this is not the book I was thinking of, so never mind. This is a separate book. This is a book that's about at least 50, maybe 60 Nintendo games at least. Yeah, unauthorized Nintendo game strategies. Welcome to the third volume. Yeah. Copyright 1990. Blah blah blah. Let's see. We've waded through the megas and supers, and even gone through a couple of even a brawl. Here are 100 of the most interesting new Nintendo games for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Nearly every one of the games we'll read about here has been introduced in 1990 or is scheduled to arrive by the beginning of 1991. You've got the big hits, games like Super Mario Bros. 3, Mega Man 3, Castlevania 3, Double Dragon 2, and Skate or Die 2, because, you know, Hollywood never had original ideas, right? Our purpose with the book, as has been from the start, is to help Nintendo fans make intelligent buying decisions before you part with $50 for a sealed cardboard box containing a closed plastic cartridge, and to help players who already own games get the most from them. We call this book Ultimate because you think you'll find the information presented here is more complete, better organized, presented than you'll find anywhere else. It's unauthorized because these books are not sponsored, endorsed, or in any way approved or disapproved by Nintendo of America or any of the companies whose products we have written about. This does not mean that we don't talk to the makers of the games. It just means that we listen and we made our own judgment before sitting down at the keyboard to write the book. We offer game strategies because we think that players want to earn their way to the end of the game. Oh, I'm sorry, I guess this rewind feature is cheating. I haven't had to use it in a while. Let's see. I did several videos like this. Jim Sterling's probably going to take footage from this in one of his videos. Let's see. We're happy to say that the concept seems to be successful. The first 2 books in the series were bestsellers, with several 100,000 copies sold already. Oh, by the way, we think players want to earn their way to the end of the game. If you want step-by-step instructions, get a book on knitting. We want to help you use your own abilities. Ooh, burn. About this book, at the heart of our efforts here has been the creation of a standard format for the games we write about. This is the cure for all of those inconsistent and confusing manuals you find inside those sealed boxes. We think that you'll find the organization of each section, the same for every title, will help you quickly learn new games or new strategies for old ones. At the top of each write-up, you'll find the ultimate game flag. First of all, we divided the games into 10 types. Aliens and Monsters. Oh, I'm just going to skip through this. Aliens and Monsters, Amazing Quest, Car Wars, Flying Feet, Oomph, Arg, Kick, Punch, Slash, Fun Learning, Gym Bag, Just for Laughs, Don't Worry, Be Happy, Lost in the Maze, Shoot 'em Ups, Strategies and Simulations. Next, we include a difficulty rating. Here are the categories. Novice. You're new around here, aren't you? Apprentice. You're able to leap tall buildings on the second or third try. Hot Dog. What? 337 more Zinger Snagger missiles? No problem. Master of the Game. Turbo power games for supercharged players, and, the get goods. And with this book, we're introducing our ultimate Nintendo game rating. Most games are rated on graphics, sound, response, and probably most importantly, fun. The top score any game could receive is 35. Some of the games we've looked at were still being developed, were incomplete, and therefore not rated. We'd love to hear from you. I'm not going to give you the address. They had a newsletter, by the way. Acknowledgements. Some guy from Nantucket, Massachusetts, and Coreyton, Tennessee. Let's see. Jason Rich from Boston. I don't think I recognize any of these guys. Yeah, don't recognize these guys. We'd like to thank the makers of the following computer products to commend them to your attention. Austin 286/16 an 80206 an 80286 based personal computer with built-in VGA graphics support. A 286. He wrote this on. 4 megabytes of 4 MB of RAM. 4 megabytes of RAM. Megabytes. So basically, 4 copies of Strider on the Genesis. That's how much RAM this computer had. A 40 megabyte hard disk. 40 megabytes. That's like 6 MP3s. Austin Computer Graphics System. Austin Computer Systems. Austin, Texas, blah, blah, blah. CompuAdd 386/20. A 20 megahertz. 8386 PC with 0 weight state cache memory. A Fujitsu RX 7100-PS PostScript LED printer. Not a dot matrix printer? Anyway. Okay, we got the preface and all that. Okay, hot hits. Sequels. What's the highest rated game in here? Let me confirm that. I don't think there's a big list at the end of the book. We got a bunch of ads at the end of this book, too, with a free t-shirt. Talk about those. We have to do a separate video on this. Let's see. Capcom Mega Man refund. Save up to $10 when you buy Capcom games. Oh, what's that? To receive your refund, you must purchase any Capcom games. It's an official mail certificate offer that expires December 31st, 1992. Oops. Check one of the following. Please have my $10 refund. I have purchased 6 Capcom games. Enclosed are my 6 Capcom UPCs and cash register receipts. Holy crap. So if your parents spent $50 on 6 Capcom games, that means if you bought Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2, 1942, Bionic Commando, and what else did Capcom do back then? Did Street Fighter come out? So basically, if you had $300 worth of, if you spent $300, if your parents spent $300 on video games and kept the receipts, you'll get $10 back. It's like $1.50 a game, right? Yeah, it's like $1.33 per game on a $50 game. Or if you kept those boxes and your UPC codes in your in your basement for like 2 decades, you could probably sell those games right now for $500 for all 6 of those games, depending on the games you purchase. Obviously, some of those games are. I want to say Mega Man 1 is still pretty expensive on the NES. I'll check. Please send my $5 refund. I purchased 4 Capcom games. I purchased 2 Capcom games. Please send me my $2.50 refund. Next. Ready for another challenge? Volume 1 of this book has Double Dragon 2, Ultima, Jordan vs. Bird, blah, 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 Legend of Zelda. Volume 2 has Ninja Turtles, DuckTales, Amagon, Willow, blah, blah, blah. No P.O.W. though. So you can purchase these books for $10. Shipping hand plus $4 shipping and handling. There's a Go Head to Head wireless. Acclaim made controllers. The quality was as good as their games. They probably didn't even work half the time. You can get a Acclaim t-shirt with Quirk on the cover. Yeah, Acclaim t-shirt with a Quirk logo. Master of the game, right? Ultimate unauthorized Nintendo Game Boy strategies. Announcing the Ultimate Insider newsletter. Yeah, okay, here's the list of all the games included in Volume 1. Prisoners of War, there it is. Okay, so this game's pretty old. Let's see what we're doing here. Okay. War games. What are the I think the highest rated game in this book might have been... Let me go to the hotheads. Not caveman games. Super Mario Bros. 3. Difficulty. Apprentice. Difficulty ranges from Apprentice to Master of the Game. Probably the hardest. There's no selectable difficulty level, but obviously you can choose generally what levels you want to do. Graphics get 8 out of 10. Response, which is play control basically, 8 out of 10. Sound gets a 5 out of 5. Again, so why is sound 1 out of 5? But everything else is 1 out of 10. Fun, 9 out of 10. Ultimate rating is 0 out of 35, which means you get a 30 out of 35 total. So basically everything's weighted equally except for sound. I guess that's why. Sound is only half as important as graphics, I guess. So that's their formula, really. It's graphics, response, and fun are out of 10, but sound is out of 5. Ultimate rating is ultimately a total of 35. Super Contra gets a 7 out of 10. Response gets a 7. Fun gets a 7. Sound gets a 4. The ultimate rating is the cumulative score. But they include some passwords in this game for some other games like Snake's Revenge. Graphics get a 5. Response gets a 6. Fun gets a 6. Sound gets a 3. So Mario got a 5. Oh, here we go. Skate or Die 2. Let's see. 8 out of 10 in graphics. 5 in response. 6 in fun. 5 out of 5 in sound. Okay. An excerpt from Skate or Die 2, The Search for Double Trouble. This cartridge includes the clearest collection of audio phrases we have yet seen in a Nintendo cartridge. That might be an interesting thread for the internet. Your main dude, Rodney, will advise you to skate straight. Lester will tell you, no way, dude. We were happy to hear the return of a good old term that has over the years has gone from surfer lingo to hippie talk and then back to skateboarding. Groovy. The graphics are groovy too. They are very detailed, kind of like the scenes in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a storyline too. Skip. I should mention that, I asked this about a year ago, I want to say, in a Facebook group. People were like, yeah, that Sesame Street game has some very good voice samples, and they weren't wrong. They really weren't wrong. Ninja Gaiden 2, The Sword of Chaos. The Dark Sword of Chaos, excuse me. Difficulty. Apprentice to Hot Dog. So they're arguing that this game has a lower difficulty ceiling than Super Mario Bros. 3. Let's see. The graphics are 7. Response is 6. Wow. Fun is 7. Sound is 4 out of 5, of course. The whole story, here we go. The whole story goes on for 6 pages in the instruction manual. You'll find some interesting clues here and there on the story, but the important lesson is this: trust no one and keep fighting. Yeah, Jacchio was in the original game. Mega Man 3, graphics, 9 out of 10. Difficulty, Apprentice to Master of the Game. So again, they're saying this game has a higher difficulty ceiling than Ninja Gaiden 2, which I find amazing. Let's see, graphics, 9, response, 9. Excuse me, response, 8? An 8 out of 10 a response? For Mega Man 3? Might be the only 10 I would ever give a game in this book. Well, maybe Mario 3 gets a 10. Fun is 8. Sound is 3 out of 5. Ooh, that's not right. Okay. What game is this? Heroes of the Lance, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Let's see. Graphics 6, response 5, fun 5, sound 3. So pretty average. This is a very complex game with an extremely detailed instruction manual. Computer versions of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons games have also spawned a whole series of thick books full of hints and strategies. This is most definitely not Pac-Man. Manufacturers FCI, remember them? Pony Canyon? Dragon Warrior 2? Yeah. Graphics 6, response 6, sound 4, fun 8. Oh, here we go. The Dragon Warrior series is a phenomenon of its own in Japan, with at least 4 versions of the game available for Nintendo players. Over there it is called Dragon Quest, and the DQ4 was released early in 1990. It sold 1.3 million copies on the first day it was in stores, so basically it was the Call of Duty of Japan back in the day. The first American version of the game, marketed by Nintendo and retitled Dragon Warrior, was a hit among role players because of the depth and detail it delivered. The sequel was offered by Enix, which created the game in Japan. I should mention that remember the animated series, Dragon Warrior, that was released here in the it was localized here in the United States by, Robert Barron. And a lot of the people who ended up working on Techno Man and Samurai Pizza Cat, I believe, also worked on that series, that localization. It came out in 1990. It was syndicated by, I think it might have been Saban. Because I know that Haim Saban and Shuki Levy were credited with the music, but you know how it is. They probably they owned a music library, I want to say, and they just licensed out their music to various shows. They did actually include some music from Koichi Sugiyama, who was the composer on Dragon Quest. And they did. And you can, if you watch that show on YouTube, you can definitely hear some of the music from the game being reorchestrated for the television show. And also, as an extra bit of trivia, I believe the director on that show was Rin Taro, or Taro Rin, basically, the guy who directed Osamu Tezuka's Metropolis animated film. He worked on Blade of the Kamui, I think it was called. I know he worked on that. He worked on the X motion picture, which I'm not going to talk about. God, that thing's awful. He also did, what was the other big thing he did? He storyboarded some episodes of Record of Lodoss Wars, which I guess makes sense. Basically, if there was an episode of Lodoss Wars that had no physical comedy in it, no slapstick, and no comic faces, no comical facial expressions, he basically directed that episode. He did a few of the first few episodes. If there was any episode with no comedic elements, he basically storyboarded it. I know I'm forgetting another, but I know he did X the motion picture, and I know he did. Was it Dagger of the Kamui? I think was the movie he did. And of course, what was the other big one? Yeah, X the motion picture. Osamu Tezuka's Metropolis. I'm drawing a friggin' blank. I think he worked for Madhouse for decades. He did a bunch of stuff. I know he did. I think he did one of the Night of the Galactic Express movies. I forget. I'll double check. But Taro Win, he's like an OG from the OG days. Old school at the old school. He's been animating since at least the 70s, I want to say. He never became as big as like a Hayao Miyazaki, but he was reasonably well known here in the States. I don't think he ever got the cachet of a guy like Satoshi Kon did as a auteur, if you will. But he was old school. By the way, there's a really surprising game here that's included in the list. Let me check. Yeah, there was a game here that, they got Fantasy Zone in here. 8 out of 10 in graphics, 7 response, 7 fun, 4 sound. Above average rankings all around there. Yeah, there was a game. Yeah, Batman. 8 out of 10 in graphics, 8 in response, 7 in fun, 4 out of 5 in sound. Nope. Air Wars. Top Gun, the second mission. 5 out of 10 in graphics, response, and fun. 3 in sound. so basically an average game. Thunderbirds. Difficulty from apprentice to master of the game. That's a pretty high skill ceiling. The highest skill ceiling. Graphics 7 out of 10. Response 5. Fun 5. Sound 3. Oh well. Rolling Thunder. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Graphics 6. Response 6. Fun 6. Sound 3. I give the game a 2, and I personally give that game a 2 out of 5 in sound. Here we go. Captain Skyhawk. Difficulty ranks from apprentice to master of the game. I think we'll just call that game a hot dog. The floor for that game is hot dog difficulty at the lowest. This is the penultimate. Graphics 9 out of 10 in graphics, response, and fun. 3 out of 5 in sound. I'll give it a 2. Frankly, there's not much going on in that game. Some people have called the modern aerial combat the ultimate video game. Excuse me. Some people have called modern aerial combat the ultimate video game. In Captain Skyhawk, we have what may be the ultimate modern aerial combat video game, at least thus far. This game was developed by Rareware, in case you're wondering. I have videos on Captain Skyhawk included on this channel. Captain Skyhawk is the most realistic. Captain Skyhawk is the most realistic, nerve-wracking, and fun flying simulation we have seen for the Nintendo. Simulation. Part of the credit here has to go to the very responsive programming part of the credit has to go to the very responsive programming, and the other part to the excellent graphics, which are among the best we have seen for a home system. Well, this is this is just around the time the Genesis came out, so I guess you could argue it's better than Altered Beast. Hey, the game's in 60 FPS. It's got that isometric Marble Madness thing going on. It was basically the game looked like Marble Madness, but with 60 FPS. The backgrounds, obstacles, and enemies are very nicely drawn, as is your F-14 VTS jet fighter. When you bank your fighter left or right, or climb or dive, you see the sides, top, or bottom of the plane. Your view is from slightly above and behind your fighter. Yeah, there are two different modes. There's there's a third-person mode that's behind the jet, like behind the afterburners, and there's a three-quarter view, like an isometric view. It's not even isometric. How do I describe it? It's not behind your ship. It's behind your ship and above. So it's kind of like Madden. It's kind of like Madden, I guess you could say. But the frame rate is way higher than Madden on the 16-bit consoles. If you were to play, I would be, well, there aren't 22 players on screen. I'm very curious to know if Captain Skyhawk could have been repurposed into a Madden engine, into a Madden football engine. There's a lot of activity in Captain Skyhawk. But yeah, that Captain Skyhawk has a John Madden football type view, which is actually kind of very fascinating. Okay. As we fought our way through the opening level, a breathtaking plunge through enemy-infested narrow mountain passes, we found ourselves being reminded of something completely unrelated. It felt like being inside of a pinball machine. No, wait. It felt like being inside of a marble maze. Yes, that was it. Captain Skyhawk is like a high-speed shoot-'em-up version of Marble Madness. And actually, there's a very strong relation here. After all, both Marble Madness and Captain Skyhawk come from the same manufacturer. Well, that's Milton Bradley, but I don't know if Rare developed the port of Marble Madness. So, but Rare definitely developed Captain Skyhawk. So if you don't have a manual for this game, you can just read this book. So that's good. Power player hints. Here we found the game to be greatly improved through the use of an arcade-like joystick, such as the Advanced Gravis device. GRAVIS. And you should make use of any turbo switches on enhanced control pads of joysticks to increase the rate of fire for the A button, which controls cannon fire. Yeah. In the old days, you didn't have auto fire built into most games, so you had to press the button really fast, and if you couldn't, then you had to you had to just get a turbo button. What is it? You use the NES Advantage controller, was obviously a major deal that Nintendo made. That had turbo built in, but there were a bunch of controllers back then, I think for like $20-$30 that include, turbo, that include like auto fire basically. And I think some of them even had sliders for the turbo fire, so you could like get slightly faster turbo fire or the fastest possible, which of course some games won't even recognize because the button pressing is just too fast. The game doesn't recognize it. Ultimate Quest of the Avatar. Graphics, 8 out of 10 for an RPG. A 6 in response, 7 in fun, 3 out of 5 in sound. Ultimate Quest of the Avatar is an aptly named game. It is clearly a quest for perfection in the role-playing world. There is more innovation, more imagination, and more detail in this game than in most any other Amazing Quest game we have seen from the Nintendo. Amazing Quest is the term they use to describe the genre, which is basically RPGs. This may or may not be the best role-playing game. Parenthetically, Phantom Link and Zelda may prefer that series' playful side, while the Dragon Warrior games, especially the new Dragon Warrior 2 game reviewed in this book, may be more exciting. But you have got to respect Ultimate Quest of the Avatar for expanding the definition of the game. The Ultimate series of games, there are now 5 of them in various computer formats, have been a huge success. Quest of the Avatar is the second of the games to arrive on the Nintendo, following Ultimate Exodus, which made its debut a year ago. Avatar is an adaptation of the PC game Ultima 4. Among the unusual features of this game is the way in which you create your starting character. Instead of the player choosing characteristics for strength, wisdom, magic, and the like, which is the way most other role-playing games begin, Quest of the Avatar begins with a psychological profile of the character. Here are the questions thou art asked. Don't ask me to say that. I got that African Adam's apple. I'm not very good at pronouncing words like that. Entrusted to deliver an uncounted purse of gold, thou dost meet a poor beggar. Dost thou deliver the gold, knowing the trust in thee was well placed, or show compassion, giving the beggar a coin, knowing it won't be missed? Unquote. Depending on how you answer the question, you will accrue points in the honesty or compassion categories. Here's another example, this time determining points in the honor or spirituality columns. In thy youth, thou didst pledge to marry thy sweetheart. How young was I? 8. Was I Charlie Brown? Did I promise to marry the little red-haired girl, regardless of whether or not she consented? Now, was she my sweetheart, or was she just my crush? Continuing. Now thou art in a sacred quest in distant lands, and thy lover hath asked thee to keep thy vow. So my high school sweetheart is going to a college that's out of state. I'm pretty sure I wrote a play about that when I was in middle school. Yeah, it was about a dude who was breaking up with his was it a middle school girlfriend? Yeah, I want to say it was a middle school girlfriend. Okay, so this kid had a middle school girlfriend in Texas, and he was moving to Washington State. And he met someone new when he was in Washington State. And it turned out that the girl that he met in Washington State was the cousin of the girlfriend he left behind in Texas. Now, there's a M. Night Shyamalan twist I was proud to have developed back when I was 13 years old. Anyway, continuing. Dost thou honor thy promise to wed or follow thy spiritual crusade? Unquote. Once you're through answering the questions at the start of the game, you will be zoomed into the castle to meet the continuing overseer of the Ultima series, Lord British. Here you will learn the details of the quest. Lord British tells you that although the Age of Darkness is over, he still cannot find a worthy adventurer who can master the 8 virtues of avatarhood. Excuse me, that's capitalized. The capitalized 8 virtues of avatarhood, uncapitalized. And the people into a new age of enlightenment. So that is your assignment. Perfection. The virtues are compassion, honesty, honor, humility, justice, sacrifice, spirituality, and valor. Based on the answers you gave to the pop quiz at the start of the game, you will be assigned to one of the following types of characters: Mage, Bard, Druid, Ranger, Shepherd, Paladin, or Tinker. Again, do those qualities matter while you're playing the game, or are they just, numbers that are assigned to your character? Like, if you promise to wed your wife and you're leaving her, to go overseas or something, does that matter in the game, or is it just increased a number on your stat meter? that makes enemies easier to defeat with white magic or something. Even Skyrim didn't do stuff like that. Or at least it was based on your actions, not based on some Briggs-Myers personality test you had to complete at the beginning of the game. Continuing, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. For example, if you received high scores in honor, justice, and valor, you may be assigned to play as a fighting ranger or paladin. If you show yourself to be a sensitive and spiritual type, you may be a mage or a bard. Like, what's that college of bards in a Skyrim? Anyway. Each type of character starts the quest with different armor, weaponry, magical ingredients, and money, and begins from a particular city. This game sounds really interesting. You start in a different city depending on which character you start as, depending on which class you are. Yeah, this game looks really interesting. Once you're into the game, you will discover that once again there's more to the game than first appears. As you move around on the map of the world, the scenery will change dramatically. Move into a dark area and you will see just a tiny window with your character in it. Move upstairs and you'll see a completely different view. Walk through a door and find the scenery behind you changing. There are hidden entrances and exits. Well, Final Fantasy kind of did that. You couldn't see into a room until you opened the door, that kind of thing. Which I have videos of Final Fantasy on this channel, of course. The original Final Fantasy. I seem to recall this game having very good pixel art when I saw the screenshots. By pixel art, I mean basically the backgrounds look surprisingly good for an NES game. Excellent use of color, some excellent detail in those pixel art backgrounds there. So I'm curious how that game's gonna play. But I don't think I've ever seen it re-released. So I'm curious how that's gonna go. Okay, it's time to end this farce. I think you get the idea, right? This might be one of the, how people do these low-effort videos on the internet where it's like, yeah, here's a picture of, what's her name from Bioshock Infinite dancing for 30 minutes. I mean, what kind of person would do something like that? That would be just a pathetic attempt to farm view minutes. Who could possibly sit through that? I mean, is that supposed to be like a stimming thing? Hopefully not, but that's definitely not my intention. Yeah. But I like the idea of having that footage just sitting there just for my personal amusement. Audio. They reviewed audio in this TV guide. This TV guide, Parents Guide to Children's Entertainment. Let's see. Bill Harley. Music meant for kids means much more than rappy. Now it means rock and reggae and rap and rhythms from around the world. Reviewed by Moira McCormick. I don't recognize any of these people with no Sailor Moon music. Hey, they got Jesus Jones in here. Ooh, Shonen Knife is in here. Let's Knife by Virgin Records. Despite dubious musical skills and fractured English, the zany, unpretentious female trio from Japan is developing a cult following. Sonic Youth and Nirvana's Kurt Cobain are big fans. Their studio-polished remakes from obscure early releases include Cycling is Fun, Twist Barbie, and other off-center bubble punk ditties about spaceships, jelly beans, and ice cream. Kid Appeal, as lovably cartoonish as Ren and Stimpy. Parent Appeal, as controversial as Sesame Street. Rating, A-. Ooh, look, the Wallflowers. The Wallflowers. Jacob Dylan, a 22-year-old son of the sainted Bob himself, shares his musical inheritance on the Wallflowers, the debut album by his same-named quintet. Jacob is gifted with his dad's distinctive phrasing and his penchant for wry and evocative lyrics. While unnervingly similar to Dad Dylan's early sound, the songs, especially when focused on eccentrics and outcasts, are vividly original. Altogether, it's a nice earful for young fans of unplugged guitars and intelligible lyrics. Todd in the Shadow's favorite musician. White guy with acoustic guitar. But, he's Bob Dylan's kid, so that's probably allowed. Kid Appeal, a spokesman for these a change in times. Parent Appeal, Bob Dylan Revisited. Grade, A-. Now, there's some A ratings here. We'll get to those later. I want to say Jesus Jones is not one of them. No, it is. Jesus Jones, their album Perverse by SBK/EMI Records Group. Jesus Jones, an ordinary Joe with a messiah complex? Don't let the name fool you. In their free time, these British lads worship The Simpsons. On stage and in the studio, they are humble disciples of feverish techno music and aggressive rock, two incongruous genres that still blend seamlessly in their chilly but irresistible pop songs. Singer Mike Edwards' voice humanizes the studio-conjured collage of slamming beats and electronically enhanced instrumentation. Kid appeal, any friend of Bart Simpson's. Parent appeal, with that name, they can't be satanic. Rating, an A. Those are some pop music ratings. So look at this. They got, the reviewer for those albums, those pop albums, was Edna Gunderson. Arrested Development, Unplugged. The 17-member family-style ensemble, winner of this year's Best New Artist Grammy, is one of rap's positive and innovative forces. Lyricist rapper Speech addresses concern for the homeless on Mr. Wendell and racial equality on People Every Day. The acoustic version of the new song, The Gettin', and tunes from the band's debut album were culled from a live performance on MTV's Unplugged. So it's better than the Lauryn Hill Unplugged album, I guess. Kid appeal, danceable beats, MTV certified hitness. I think she meant dopeness. Parent appeal, low decibel rap and politically correct messages. Rating, an A. So we'll get to the others later. Okay, let's skip ahead to we'll have to finish this video up pretty shortly. I'm gonna have to leave. Movies. Okay, can't do that. Wait, who directed this? Coneheads. Steve Barron directed. Okay, whatever. Wait, did it say Lorne Michaels and Steve Barron directed? Yeah. Oh, here's a Cartoon Network ad. We'd like to introduce our family to yours. Now you can invite Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, and all the other top toon stars into your home whenever you want. That's because we brought them all together to offer a 24-hour program your whole family will enjoy watching the Cartoon Network. If your family doesn't have it, call your cable operator and we'll be right over. This is on page 65. Of course, all these people are now streaming on Boomerang or something. Top 10 primetime shows for families. We'll skip this. Let's just say Dr. Quinn, Master and Women, Full House, Star Trek, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine are on there. Ooh, Where I Live. We all live together. This is where I live. Okay, we'll finish off with some choice selections here. TV reviews. Reviewing animated TV shows. Just a second. We'll just do some quickies. Ooh, this is from David B. and Cooley. He contributes to NPR's Fresh Air. Saturday isn't pure junk food anymore. Alongside the usual superheroes, you'll find a few surprises. For instance, David B. and Cooley. Wow. X-Men, airing on Fox. Ages 6 to 14. Superpowered mutants spend their time fighting bad guys and occasionally each other in this new series based on the phenomenally popular Marvel Comics characters. The animation and stories are less ambitious in this television version, but only... Oh, okay, yeah. But only older, crankier fans will mind. Yeah, it wasn't as complicated as the comic books, but they were ambitious for a Saturday morning cartoon show for kids and tweens. Kid appeal. For viewers who like their cartoon characters to have character, X-Men marks the spot. X-Men has proven to be so popular, attracting an estimated 4.3 million kids, aged 2 to 11, every week, that it has been credited with single-handedly making fledgling Fox a competitor in the Saturday morning race, challenging mighty CBS. Those were the days, huh? Learning value. Yeah, they rank shows based on learning value. Because the mutants are an often persecuted minority group, the series embraces tolerance as a recurring theme. But that's stretching things. It also embraces giant robots, weird villains, and lots of animated explosions. This is based on the first season of the animated series as of, 1990. This was published in the summer of I can't read the title. Darn it, I ripped it off. This book costs $1.40, by the way. This book costs $1.50. This was published, this is issue number 1. This was published in the summer of 1993. So this is based on the second season, I want to say. I think it was based on the first. So I think it was based on the first 8 episodes or something. Is Gene Siskel in here? I want to say Gene Siskel is in here. There's a lot of good stuff in this book. I'll read extracts from it later. Ooh, MST3K is on here. And it gets I'll tell you what rating it gets later. It's not an A, so don't worry about it. Saturday morning TV. Okay, here we go. Tiny Toon Adventures is in this book. What rating does it get? Stay tuned to find out. Garfield and Friends. It does not get an A from David B. and Hewlett. Back to the Future. Bugs Bunny and Tweety Show. Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Does not get an A rating. Inspector Gadget. Does not. Ooh, a pup named Scooby-Doo. Wow. We'll have to read a bit more of this later. Okay, so we're ready to move on. This is patently absurd. So this dance will continue for a while. Thanks for staying with me through this. I'll probably use this as the basis for some more podcast crap. I mean, this is just me pressing the button over and over again, so I guess the game will figure it out at some point.